Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Peter Stone, and I put together a program pretty much for myself because I was uh, doing my goals, and I wasn't successful in some cases for many years, like when I was trying to manage my weight and my fitness and my health. The fitness part wasn't so bad, but extra weight that I didn't want to carry around. And that's just one example of the things that I wanted to change, focus more and maybe have more fun in life and have a more positive attitude. There's a long list of things, probably 12 things in my year-end goals. I do a review, and I hope you do too for your own good. And when we do that, we sit in silence and we take some time to do our year end goals, which are really our New Year's resolutions. So what did I find out? Like a lot of people, nothing unusual, right? That we lose focus very quickly. Most of us, not all of us, but very few out of a large number of people actually get probably more than 60% of their goals accomplished. Very few people do that because after 3 weeks, they go back to the old habits, the old ways. We get busy and we forget, but our intention is good. A year passes and our intentions come again. So I created this program called Stepping Up and Stepping Out and Making 2022 your best year yet. And I've run this program not every year since 2017, but it's when I started that. And it has helped. It has helped me. And I know it has helped a few other people that I didn't even know about. So I heard later. And what it's based on, and we forget, right? It's easy to forget. We get busy, so much going on in life. Then time passes, goals pass. Things we really want to do at our core, we forget because all this external noise and busyness has stolen our time and our focus. Solution? Excuse me. The solution for me was I was walking the beach one night and I looked up at the moon, full moon. And I'm like, well, every 28 days or so, there's a full moon. And I was thinking about my goals because the full moon is a powerful time. Above and beyond just a really bright, beautiful moon in the sky and reflection on the sea or a lake or coming up over a mountain or the woods or wherever it is. Or even online, if it's cloudy, if it's rainy, if it's foggy, if it's inclement weather and you can't see the moon, then most of us are online today for sure. And someone's going to post a picture. Not just someone, a lot of people post pictures about full moons, full moon. So the trigger, the point is using the full moon as a trigger and a switch, a natural switch that comes in a natural cycle that gives us natural energy, magnetic energy things. Our energy and our excitement it's elevated at a full moon. It's proven. It's science. It's studies after studies. People are more active and more excited, and we need to captivate that excitement, how subtle it may be or how intense. Some people can't sleep on a full moon. They don't even realize it's full moon, but they're not sleeping really well. They're like, in this state, weird things happen. And our energy shifts, and a lot of times it's really good, but sometimes it's not like serving us in a positive way. Some weird stuff, right? But then there's the new moon, which is almost maybe as powerful. I don't know, as magnetically is what I'm talking about, because I know the tides are really high on a full moon, and on a new moon. So every 2 week cycle, about 14, 15 days, right? That we can be reminded. And if you just get in the simple habit, you see, there's a moon app that I have in my phone. So I just boom, I pop on that and I just find out where I am. But because it's there and I've practiced a lot, I stick pretty much. I've been able to accomplish a lot of things because I focused on this fitness and feeling good. And today I want to talk about the well-being habits. Okay, and the habit of using the full moon or the new moon. That's the basis of this program. So we don't let our goals fall to the wayside. We're reminded every 2 weeks, one way or the other. You can put it in your phone. You could always put it in your phone, but now you've got to remember that it's a new moon, because full moon is easy, but the new moon is not. Why did I add the new moon in? Because typically a habit is built or broken in 3 weeks after 21 days. So the time between a new moon and a full moon is 28 days. So we have to put a little extra effort, which is good because it's a practice, it's a consciousness to build a habit that when you raise your awareness and you ask a positive question, like, how am I going to get my goals handled this year? Or not with a less than useful tone to it. Really put it in a positive, uplifting question. That's one thing, is when someone is talking about weight, then they start talking, they start beating themselves up, and I can never do it, blah, blah, blah. That kind of talk will keep you unfit, unwell, or ungoal accomplished, if you will. You will not reach your goals if you have that mindset. So we must rephrase our words, and it's a simple matter. It's not an easy matter, but when you catch your mind thinking a less than a useful thought, make it a daily effort to catch yourself and be aware of the words you use. Well, that always happens. Well, if you use that, that's always going to happen. But I can say that, and I'm going to say there's always parking. So I flipped it, and you can too, because this is part of the well-being habit building scenario. Okay, you've got these little tools, but using the moon, having your goals written down on a piece of paper or in the computer or in your phone. But I like that connection, pen, paper. Some people don't. And if your best way is on your phone or in your computer, then so be it. And I meant to bring my 3x5 cards from my home. I'm in my office in my company today, and I just wanted to go through. Actually, what we'll do is we'll put those together as a PDF with the cards, like empowering to focus. If you took 7 cards a day, I like bright colored cards, like a bright green, a bright yellow, a bright red, a bright orange card, and I put my notes on it and they catch my eye. And that helps me. I do whatever I have to do to work to stay focused on what the goal is. So in this case, I wanted to talk about feeling good, okay? And what are the things you want to leave behind? Make a list of what it is you no longer will. And when you write it this way, I will no longer accept this in my life, in my daily life. In other words, I'm going to do everything I can. And it just doesn't happen overnight. And one of the biggest things we do as human beings is, if we don't do it perfect, then we're a failure, right? I mean, it's a mindset. We know this. And you're not, and I'm not. And I proved it again and again and again because I was persistent. And I'm like, okay, that didn't work. I'll keep doing it. Persist until you reach the thing that it is that you want to reach. And if it takes 10 years, okay, but probably you don't want it to. But if it does, and you gain a little every day or every week for 10 years, and you've changed it finally, right? It took me probably 18 years to decide and find the light that shifted my eating habits. I mean, like permanently. And I still eat delicious desserts and things. I just don't eat them as much as I used to. Or add extra things to my day. I add healthier foods to my day that doesn't add on weight and is cleaner fuel, and it's food that I love to eat. What about you? Have you made a list of the things that you like to eat and the things that's going to lift you up? So, I heard this term many years ago, long time ago when computers first came out. And it was GIGO or GIGO, right? GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if it's food, not all the garbage is going out. It's coming in and some of it's staying and the rest is eliminated, we think. And the more garbage we put in our system, the weaker we're going to be, just from a food standpoint. That's a common sense food. This is a thing we know. If you put garbage fuel in a car, the car is not going to work well, or in any machine. So point made there. You need rest. And I know we all have to get a good night's sleep. Some people don't need as much as others. Some people say, oh, you've got to have 8 hours. Well, maybe you do. Some people need 5. They thrive on 5. Some people get groggy after 8 hours sleep. They need 7 or 6. We're all different, but you will know by the way you feel if you're burning out. I mean, pay attention to the signposts. And it's one thing I used to, when I started my jewelry business and I was selling out of my car and I went to my sister's house for break time and inventory time. And I would be Sunday counting the inventory of my jewelry. And she goes, Peter, you just work non-stop. Well, I did that for 10 years to build my business. And I knew in the back of my mind, when I caught up to a certain point, I could breathe. But I paid the price of burnout, like really being exhausted. And we've all probably been there. I'm not going to say we all have, but that's not necessarily a good place. Every now and then it's okay to push ourselves. And it's every now and then, it's like food. It's okay to go out and feast and enjoy life. But when you do the 80-20, 70-30, 90-10 rule, where 90% of what you do, 80% or 70% of what you do are all the good well-being habits, the best that you can. And if you're going to just start, or if you're just starting and you're going to get serious about life and feeling good, especially now, it's challenging times, we need all the strength, all the mental, physical, and spiritual strength we can muster. And that takes extra effort. But this kind of effort, that when you're building something like a better mind, a stronger body, a clearer mind by the foods and the fitness and the thinking, the quiet time that you take in a day to get into a state of well-being. Once we start feeling that, like I did when I was really pushing hard, because I didn't want to feel bad. I refused to lose. And it was painful for years. It was painful. I'll leave it there. I'm not going to tell any stories here. Just know, like many of you, things have been painful in our lives and we got to get through it. But when we persist and we say, I'm going to do this no matter what, and it's easy to throw in the towel sometimes and say, oh no, what's the use? No, there's a lot of use. When we all collectively put forth an energy, a momentum builds, and the smiles, the reflections of seeing other people growing and benefiting and having better life and feeling better, that vibration and that energy helps us all. You see someone with a smiling face. Some people say, oh, why is that person smiling? Well, they could have found, excuse me, happiness and joy, true happiness and joy. And who are we to ask them, why are they smiling? They're smiling and they're happy, and we should respect that and say, if I'm not feeling that same way, and that's just the other side of it. But the positive side of it is that I see a smile on a face that makes me feel good. I like to feel good. What else can I do to build a habit to feel good, bring joy, and feel strong? So the three basic things: getting your rest as much as you need. You'll know, your body speaks to you, your mind, you know. And if you're having a problem sleeping, I had some solutions on my list here. And one of them, my wife, she had a problem sleeping many years ago when she first came to America. And I'm like, I think you should exercise before you go to bed. So she went and she bought something simple as a disc that you stand on and you twist, and you're getting crunches. And the faster you twist, if you do this for 15 minutes, you're going to feel it, and you're going to get a little tired, especially at night. And that stress is going to get, cleaned out. Now I ride a bike before I go to bed. If I ride it too hard, I might have a higher energy, but I ride, and I ride in the morning and I ride at night, but only 20 minutes. I don't think that's a real exercise. I think that's just a quick stretch. When I say I'm going to go exercise, I'll swim a couple of miles, or I'll ride hard and put weights, and I'll really feel it. But just a quick ride on the bike and a stretch and a balance test, those are easy to do. And those exhaust the stress and they de-stress us. So work on those habits. Think about those things. Make a list. People go, you got to go to I don't go to gyms. I rarely go to gyms. If I have to, I will. I don't like them. I like outdoors. What about you? What do you like? Do you like outdoors, or do you like a gym? But you need to go the place that makes you happy and want to do the things that's going to give you strength and make you feel better and get to your goals. So I'm talking on this habit building thing. Recognize that, wow, I felt good. The next time you have scheduled, or in your mind that you should be doing this and you're not doing it, the tool is so blatantly in our face with Nike. It's just do it. There's nothing more simple than those two words, nothing more powerful in my mind. Just do it. So it's 9:30 at night. I want to go to bed. Am I really, really tired? No, I'm just feeling it's the end of the day. And some days I feel really great at the time. Some days I feel tired. But the mindset is this. Got to do it. And then turn it into a mechanical action, not a thought action. Because sometimes the thought of doing it is so heavy And I know when I get on my bike and I start moving and I realize there's a night bird singing and the stars are out and the wind's blowing. And it's just like, oh my God. And I go to a bedroom in a box. I prefer to sleep outside for sure, but go to a bedroom in a box, and that just doesn't cut it for me. Uh, Energetically, it's like go out, do that little diversion, you actually get a burn going. 15 or 20 minutes, you get a connection, you deep breathe, you de stress, and you sleep really well 99% of the time. So many of you may know, but you polish that, right? And wake up in the morning because you've done something or you've worked on something refreshed and alive. So what I realize is that when I've done something constructive and useful before I go to bed, I wake up in the morning charged again for a continued momentum. And this is part of the habit building. And you've got to test these things. So what works for you or what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. You've got to find your way. And that's why I brought up the gym. Because people say, oh, go to the gym 5 days, blah, 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 blah. And now you say, like, I don't want to go to the gym. Well, neither do I. So I go swimming, I go on the bike. What do you want to do? Go for a run, whatever that may be. So sleep well. And think about the foods that you eat too. It's, of course, obviously better not to eat before you go to bed, but what about warm soup or chilled soup, depending on where you live, before you go to bed? Something soothing, right? So the exercise part, you make a list again of the things you love to do or that you enjoy doing or that you're okay doing. And then as the benefits show up, then you want to do it. And that's where the switch comes in the moments of sitting down and saying, like, I don't want to, I really don't feel like doing it. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. No. Because the switch goes to the results 15 or 20 minutes later. I always feel better. So if you can get that switch in your head that it's worth it. And that's like with food too. It's like thinking about the food that we eat. You eat it, you enjoy it for, depending how fast you eat, right? 2 to 3 to 5 minutes to 10 minutes, whatever. You're enjoying it and it's gone. Then if it's a fatty, carby thing, then there's a price to pay after that. Could be in the way you feel, could be in the way that carb affects your body or the sugar. So the payoff, where's the payoff? And it's a lot of times difficult to get past that pleasure point. This is so good. But how did I do it? I practiced. I really did a dramatic shift. I went from the carbs to this, and I saw something that was an eye opener and a game changer. I watched a little clip, Forks Over Knives, and I just immediately changed from dairy and all this. And I'm not extreme. I still eat some yogurt and a little milk in my tea and that type of thing. But I just don't do as much. Someone said, oh, you can eat all this farm raised and farm grazed beef. And I just never ate beef, but my wife liked it. So I thought, okay, well, let me try it. These eggs and all this. And then the puff and the fat came on. I mean, I just didn't, I started losing energy because of the extra fats in that food, and that type of food for me, it didn't match. So when I watched this video, this clip, Forks Over Knives, I recommend it highly to anyone who's having any challenges with a diet, because when I did that, not my clip, a Dr. Colin Campbell put it together, who was a dairy farmer who no longer eats dairy, but that's his choice. So as I said, it's not about being so strict as the 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. do as you choose. But there are steps that makes this habit building simpler and easier. And we always think, well, I got to do it in a week. I got to do it in a month. And if I don't, then I screwed up. And oh man, I'm never going to be able. Yes, you are. You are. You say, no, I'm not sticking with that attitude. So it's morning time here in Thailand. Lime juice, warm lime juice. And I've got a green juice being made and some beets and things. Add those on top of the other things that maybe not serve you, and do a shift, a slow shift. I did a really fast shift because I tried slow shifts. I tried all kinds of things for many years to get into my habit that worked and served me. And when I started seeing health numbers drop, I'm like, oh my God, yes, these are really good numbers, like amazing blood pressure and pulse numbers and stuff like a teenager. And I'm like, holy cow, this stuff really works. I want more of it. Habit thinking. Look at the results, not the immediate. I'll sit with some people. I mean, like my daughter, I think, oh, I don't like the taste of that. And I'm like, well, my mindset for many years has been let thy food be thy medicine, some quote from an old philosopher centuries ago. And it is as valid, probably more valid than ever today. Real food, real energy. And even if you can only make a portion of your diet really whole foods, clean, then the mind gets stronger and clearer. That makes building the habit easier, right? So we move a little bit, shift our diet a little bit, and that helps our mind overall. And this cycle starts again in the body, mind, and spirit. It's a cycle. When you feed each one a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, you build the momentum of a powerful habit. This is Peter Stone inviting you on the new moon and the full moon to come and get a tip or two. Leave your comments, and if you want me to talk about something on the new moon or the full moon, because when you click on the link and subscribe, you'll get an email and you'll get a text if you want it as a reminder. But what the heck, you've got the full moon. And if you put a little app called Moon Giant either in your phone or in your computer, right on your computer, you see the phase of the moon, boom, switch. Couldn't be simpler. It's not an annoying alarm in your phone. It's a beautiful thing over the sea or over the trees. So use nature. It's really helped me. So please, if you're struggling or if you're having a hard time developing and attaining your goals, come back, subscribe, follow us on here on Instagram, also on YouTube and on Facebook and a few other places like Rumble and Getter and a whole bunch of other social media places. Let's do this together. We need the strength and the power of positivity more than ever. And developing these habits on a consistent basis will absolutely make your life and others' lives much more pleasant, positive, and happy. This is Peter Stone saying thanks. Have a good, empowered week.